What are we talking about today? We're talking about why you should not hire me. I'm also doing today's video a little bit different. I'm gonna do it a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more, like I am. All right, in today's video, I wanna talk to you about 3 reasons why you definitely should not hire a trademark lawyer like me to help you with your trademark application. So if you are an online entrepreneur and you wanna protect your brand, you wanna make sure you're doing things legally legit, you want peace of mind. You probably also want to save some money, especially when it comes to legal, because nobody likes paying this guy right here because lawyers are expensive. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we're pricey, and as startup entrepreneurs, a lot of you want to save some money and not hire a lawyer. So, which begs the question: well, what do we do? Like, why do we earn this money that we make as lawyers? And it's because we give people peace of mind. We help them with a process that they don't necessarily understand. And especially when it comes to trademarks, we can do a really good job of helping you to do a comprehensive search at the front end to make sure that you're not going to run into problems on the back end. So when you're talking about trademarks in particular, this is a big question. Should you hire a lawyer or not? And the reason for that is because the trademark process, just in general, takes a long time. Right now, it's taking about 8 months for the trademark office even to assign an examining attorney to your application. So one thing you need to understand about trademarks is the process is set up to make it difficult for you to get a trademark registered. And it's not like the Copyright Office, which basically, rubber stamps every copyright application that comes through. The Trademark Office is much more an oppositional type of office. So they're looking for reasons to deny your trademark. And even once you get through that period where you think you're in the clear, then they've got this publication period where people can step in and actually oppose your trademark. And that can cause a whole more set of delays. So when it comes to the decision of whether or not you should hire a lawyer, you just need to be aware of that's the process you're looking at having to deal with on your own if you decide to go on your own. There are 3 main reasons that I deduce most people do not want to hire a lawyer and want to do their trademark application on their own. And the number 1 reason, I firmly believe this, is money. It comes down to money. And you decide you want to register your trademark. You understand the importance of having that federal trademark. You understand that it's important to protect your branding and your name. And you understand that you do not want to be on the receiving end of a cease and desist letter at some point in the future. You don't want to have somebody else steal your name in the future. So you understand the importance of getting that trademark. But when it comes time to actually doing it, it comes down to money. And trademark lawyers, you perceive them to be expensive. You're looking at the price you have to pay a trademark lawyer to help you with your application as a cost. And honestly, it should be a cost of doing business. It's just one of those things. When you're setting up a business and you are starting an online business, I mean, there's a number of things you're going to have to spend money on. If you're doing a YouTube channel, you got to buy a camera. If you are starting a store on Amazon, you have to buy inventory. If you are starting a coaching business, you might have to invest in ads to get clients to come in the door. So all these things are costs that you need to spend money on when you're starting up a business. Hiring a trademark lawyer and getting your branding right is just another one of those things. And for whatever reason, you've decided that is not a price that you want to pay, but you really should be looking at this as an investment, because if you file this application and you do it incorrectly, or you do an incomplete search and your application gets denied or it gets opposed at some point, and you don't have a lawyer to help you navigate that process who helped you from the very beginning, chances are it's going to cost you a lot more time and it's going to cost you a lot more money than it would have if you just hired a lawyer from the beginning. So that's just the first thing to be thinking about, is money. The second reason why I think that a lot of people do not choose to hire a trademark lawyer is because they've been operating for a long time with their business. They're pretty comfortable with the name they've chosen for their business. they've done their search and they think everything is good, and it's really just in their mind more of a formality to go ahead and file that trademark application. Problem is, when you're doing that search, you probably are just looking for exact match names. This is the big issue that I see a lot of people do, is they're only looking for exact match names, which means that chances are the exact name that you've chosen is not taken. But are you looking for phonetic equivalents, maybe foreign interpretations of your name, perhaps phonetically similar names? So like I talk about like the word because versus like BECUZ. They sound exactly the same, but if you're not going to find one when you do a direct hit of the other. So those are the types of things that you should be looking for. There's also near exact match names, and these are names that don't sound exactly the same, but they are, you know, very, very similar. So there might be a name that's like Blackbeard, and maybe there's another name that's like Whitebeard. And so those names, whereas they're not exactly the same, they're very similar. So you get into some issues there where your search might not be as comprehensive as you thought it would be. And so you can have that peace of mind by having a lawyer do the search. Now, if you're looking to hire a service or a lawyer who says they'll just file your application for you, but they're not going to do a search, I would be careful about that. There are certain situations where maybe that would be appropriate. Number one, you shouldn't be paying them a lot of money to do that, because it's easy to just file an application. It's the search is where, you know, the true value of hiring a lawyer comes in. But there are some situations. So like if you've been operating for the last 20 years under the same name and you're established in the industry, and you know, you're pretty sure that nobody else has filed to take your name, and you've never received a cease and desist letter before, then maybe, you know, you can get away without doing a search. But in the vast majority of cases, I would say that's not the case. So my wife says that she does not like this coffee, which is, I mean, I'm not quite sure what that means. It either means that the coffee is, I don't know, we'll find out. Because I don't really like the same type of coffee as she is, so let's see if I like it. It's dark coffee. It's dark. I don't think she likes the dark. Don't knock the coffee out of my hand. Also, I haven't done the coffee in a while. Oh, and you might be wondering why I don't have a legitimate coffee mug. It's because our coffee mugs are either in storage in North Carolina or they're on a boat somewhere in the ocean. And we haven't gotten new coffee mugs yet, so we're drinking out of these very Portuguese glasses. And the third reason that I would say that people don't feel they need to hire a lawyer to help them with their trademark application, and I've talked about this before, is because the application is deceptively simple. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's really pretty easy. I mean, you fill out your name, the name, whoever is going to be owning the trademark, you fill out the name of the mark, whatever it is that you want to register, you provide evidence of that, and then you tell them what classes you want to register in and a description of the goods or services that you're going to be selling. And that's basically it. And then there's some other ancillary issues that you need to deal with, such as filing a specimen and things of that sort. So it's a relatively easy process. It's relatively straightforward, and a lot of people think because it's so simple on its face that it's something that they can do without the need to call a lawyer. And again, I would caution you, oftentimes, and it's funny, I had a law professor. He used to tell us, if you walk out of the law school exam and you think you aced it, you probably bombed it. But if you walk out of the law school exam and you think you bombed it, you probably aced it. And I know for those of you who never went to law school, maybe you don't exactly understand why I say that, but it's true. And the reason why is because if you really knew the material and you understood how many potential issues and problems you might see on that application, you would understand why the person that actually aced the exam probably felt like they bombed it, because they probably saw 50 issues that needed to be resolved in this law school exam, whereas the person who thought they aced it, they saw 5 issues and they got all 5, but they missed the other 45 that the person who thought he bombed the exam or she thought they bombed the exam struggled to find time to write about. So that's where we're talking about issues. So law school was all about issue spotting, and when you're talking about the trademark application, it's all about knowing what issues that you might need to deal with and where the problem areas are, and a lawyer is the only one who really can truly understand what's going on with that application. Now, is that to say that you can't get a trademark through on your own? Certainly you can, but this is a problem for a lot of people. They do something wrong on the application and then their trademark doesn't go through, and they want to know why, and it's probably because they mess something up at this very initial stage of the process. And then the other thing I'll say about that, once you file the application, the process isn't over. It's not like you just file it and a couple months later they send you your trademark. They may have objections to your application. There may be office actions that need to be overcome. There may be opposition proceedings that are filed. You need to be monitoring your application throughout the process, because if any of these issues do arise and you don't deal with them at the time they come up, there's very strict deadlines for when you need to respond to these issues by. And if you don't respond to them because you're not paying attention to the fact that these issues have come up with your application, then your application will basically be dismissed. And then you're just out a lot of money and time and effort, and all that time that it took. Like I said, it takes about 8 months for it to be assigned to an examining attorney. So if you just forgot about your application during those 8 months, and maybe they come in and they assign somebody 4 months in, you were thinking it was going to take 8 months and you're not paying attention, well, you might have an issue if they file some sort of what are called an office action that you don't respond to, or that you don't know how to respond to, because you get something and you're like, wait a minute, I don't know how to respond to this. What do I do? So those are some things to think about. Still got the sticker on the bottom. That's nice. Coming into the end of the year, which means that I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about end of year legal issues. So you definitely want to make sure that you subscribe. Check out this video right here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.